Because all the Muslim migration that comes in now, even terrorists, are pretending to be gay or pretending to be Christian, so they can't be sent back. That's how they're claiming asylum. Again, there's no perfect situation to this. But what I wouldn't do is play a game or gamble with the future of Britain's daughters. And currently, Afghan migrants are 22 times more than British people. Why are we letting any Afghans in when we know that statistic? Why is there any more Afghans being allowed into Great Britain? Again, they don't have a right to come here. And when we look at the problems, as I said, white English are now 33% of our capital city. Where do we have to go? Because Afghanis can go back to their homeland. It's Afghanistan. Their homeland is not Britain. It's Afghanistan. Pakistanis can go back to Pakistan. Somalians can go back to Somalia. And when we talk about refugees, none of them are legitimate refugees. And I'll explain it, Russell. When I was 11 or 12 years old, we had the Bishop family in my road in Luton. And I remember it was in the newspapers. And when the Bosnian War was on, when Bosnians were being massacred, and you would be proud of our country, because I knew that boy. They were Muslim. His father was murdered, and butchered in the war, in the conflict. They come here on an aeroplane brought into Luton Airport for a refugee program, So legitimate refugees brought into the UK, a mother, 2 children. They went to my school. They both grown up into brilliant British citizens, But that's refugees. This mess that we're seeing now. The hotel's full of young, angry, arrogant, hostile, violent men. A terrorist attack by a man in a hotel. That is a whole different ballgame. We're talking about something very different. Do you think it's human trafficking and they're being brought in to our country and there's no checks done on them? But Russell, one case, when you pick up, and I could pick up hundreds of cases like this. One case, Bournemouth. So a young migrant comes, he comes to UK, he says he's 15. He's put into a school in Bournemouth. You have to look this case up. He's put into school in Bournemouth, right? He causes problems at school. He sexually harasses girls at school. When people are protesting outside, rather than have the legitimate discussion about why people are angry, what they did is blanketed it, politicised it as far right. So, and that might have worked. They weaponised the judiciary, weaponised the media, weaponised the courts, imprisoned innocent people for words, for all their social media posts. That buried it for a limited time. What you're seeing now is it's rising up again. It's not going to go away. And it's not going to go away because people see, and I understand, and when I meet many left-wing people, and I've got friends who have got left-wing partners, the reason that they have their liberal views and they welcome refugees is because they're lovely, wonderful people. But it doesn't work like that. And what should we do first and foremost? Our job as a country is not to help Afghanistan. It's not to help them. It's to protect British people first. And that's it. And my first and foremost, I care about young English children. When I look at that, and obviously, and this mood of the nation, which has totally changed, if we could just put up a truce.
Tommy Robinson has once again thrust himself into the center of Britain's migration debate. In his latest comments, Robinson has shared what he describes as frightening stories about migrants moving into the UK, claims that play directly into the ongoing national arguments about asylum, borders, and community safety. Robinson's accounts, delivered in his familiar confrontational style, focus on alleged incidents within towns and cities where new migrant arrivals have been housed. He points to overcrowding, rising tensions in local communities, and isolated reports of crime. Supporters say he is raising uncomfortable truths that mainstream politicians prefer to ignore. Critics argue he is scaremongering, amplifying anecdotes into a broader narrative designed to inflame public fears. The political potency of such stories lies not only in their content, but in their delivery. Robinson has long positioned himself as a voice for working-class communities who feel sidelined by Westminster politics. By framing migration as a direct threat to safety, identity, and local culture, he taps into deep-seated anxieties at a time when immigration remains one of the most polarizing issues in Britain. The new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has already sparked a fierce debate with her comments on digital ID rollout, seen by some as a backdoor mechanism to monitor migrants more closely. Meanwhile, opposition parties accuse ministers of policy failure, pointing to record asylum backlogs, strained housing stock, and chaotic offshore processing plans. Against this backdrop, Robinson's stories serve as a rallying cry to those demanding tougher border controls and stricter enforcement. They also highlight a growing political gap. While mainstream parties debate technical reforms, populist voices frame migration as an existential crisis. Civil rights groups and political opponents argue that Robinson's rhetoric is both dangerous and misleading. They stress that asylum seekers make up a fraction of Britain's population and often arrive fleeing war, persecution, or economic collapse. Charities warn that treating migrants as a threat risks fueling xenophobia and social division. Academic studies on migration frequently show that while rapid, unmanaged settlement can cause short-term strains on local services, long-term integration contributes positively to the economy and society. Robinson's detractors accuse him of ignoring this evidence in favor of fear-driven narratives. The debate Britain faces is larger than one man's frightening stories. It is about how a nation defines itself, open or closed, tolerant or suspicious, confident in integration or fearful of change. Robinson's words reflect one pole of that debate, but the question remains whether mainstream politics can find a balanced response that reassures concerned communities while upholding Britain's values and obligations.
These comments, I broke this the other day on GB News, we got the headlines in. This caused a little bit of, by Nadine Dorries, of course she's just defected, but they've caused a little bit of tension in the party because, of course, Nadine is a staunch Boris loyalist. And I wonder whether her comments the day after the conference are going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. What do you think?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that we stand firm on this. It's good to have Nadine Dorries over. She's bringing a wealth of experience with her, but we certainly don't need Boris Johnson. We're a strong party. We are rising, exponentially. I mean, we're at 34% of the polls now. And we don't need Boris to join us. And I think Nigel has made that very clear at conference and also today during varying different press conferences.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, though, it does look a little bit embarrassing for the party because Nadine has been up on the main stage. It was announced as a massive defection. And I think people will be wondering, well, has this all gone very badly, very quickly? And can you trust someone like Nadine Dorries, who, of course, again, has just proven she's very loyal to Boris. She's even saying he should join the party, that she's somebody that we want in Reform UK, that you would want as a councillor. And is that something that you believe we should have these Tory defections constantly coming over? Because it might cause more of this kind of tension. Maybe Boris could end up usurping Nigel.
Well, that's kind of a little bit beyond my pay grade, to be totally honest with you.
Fair enough, Maxine, fair enough.
That is obviously down to Nigel. But Nigel obviously has the faith and the trust in her. He put her up on the stage, as we know. She does bring a wealth of experience. She's got cabinet experience, something that we don't actually have as a party. But I do wonder if this is all said a little bit to actually kind of whip it all up in the media as it has done. I think we all know the answer to that. We all know what happened in 2019 when Nigel stood us all down with promises from Boris Johnson. And I don't think that our Nigel would actually allow for that to ever happen again. And I think for us as members, councillors, I don't think that we would want that neither. So I can't see it ever happening.
Maybe to be slightly fair to Boris Johnson here. I mean, he's an extremely electable man. He won a massive landslide, the biggest landslide since Thatcher fought for the Tories. Maybe he's someone that you would say we should want in the party. That we want someone like Boris to join us so he can campaign for us. Perhaps even something like a chairman sort of role, perhaps.
Well, I think he kind of blotted his copybook, and I don't think people trust him. He did a lot of bad things. Faith, trust was lost in him. I mean, I was a big Boris fan, I have to say. When he was the mayor of London, I thought he was a very good mayor, very entertaining. But I think that a lot of the things he did, he lost so much public trust. And I don't think that the time's right. Maybe many, many years' time, but I don't think people will actually forgive him. And I cannot see that he would be right for Reform UK.